Hey, Sterile Processing Universe, it's Hank Balch here. I've got a special guest today on Fighting Dirty, Justin Pullen, CEO of Beyond Clean. And we're going to be talking about temp staffing, travelers in sterile processing, and a couple of the challenges that either as a manager or a staff member you may encounter in the context of temp staffing. So Justin, I know as a former sterile processing manager, one of the most frustrating things about doing any kind of temp staffing is not knowing the quality of candidate that's going to walk in your front door. You can hope, you can pray, you can try to do phone interviews, but at the end of the day, someone could show up and not have the skills or the experience that you're hoping that they would walk in with.
Yeah, or the soft skills, just in terms of communication, right? We hire people as full-time employees into departments in any organization, right, because we want them to fit our culture. And so unfortunately, one of the things that happens with temp staffing is we don't really have that control over the culture in the department, but we're meeting a very immediate need to be able to service the patients that are coming into the hospital. I think one of the things is setting a standard around what requirements should be there, because you're not going to be able to do a lot of that cultural indoctrination, right? And you're not going to be able to do that. So what you need is somebody who's going to be skilled in doing the work, isn't going to require a lot of training, and is going to hit the ground running pretty quickly, mostly because it's an immediate need. You're already understaffed if you're bringing them in. And also the organization's paying a premium for this staff. And so you want to make sure that if you're bringing somebody in, that they're going to do a good job. How many times have you heard a story where somebody said, "Oh yeah, that's the traveler," or they've had a bad experience? And I think temp staffing can be done very well. Right. But I do think that sometimes you have a couple of bad experiences and managers really get soured on it.
And the expectation on the regulatory side of things is actually increasing for that quality, and they expect, if it's a traveler or if it's a full-time employee, that you have documented competency of the folks in your department touching your tray. So this is an important point for managers and directors out there that are utilizing temp staffing, whoever you go with, that you do want an external standard to be met, but whoever comes into your department, they need to meet your internal quality standards and competency standards. And that can be a struggle and a balance, to your point, because you're already critically staffed. The manager already doesn't have enough time.
And you've got to dedicate somebody to do the competency.
That's right. They got to document competency.
If you're lucky enough to have an educator, they're already getting pulled into the department and not performing their role as an educator. Right. So to then pull them off of that as help is coming in to do those competencies, yeah, I can really see how you're going to be paying a price immediately just in terms of availability of staff to rectify the staffing issue.
Well, the second part about this is we talk competency, but the other part is speed. So if you get an employee quit or get fired or just a spike in volume, oftentimes that's immediate. Those people may leave in a week. They may give a 2-week notice, depending on what the circumstances are. But to get approved spots and slots to get approved to hire travelers, sometimes take a couple of weeks for departments. So by the time they have approval in hand and they're ready to go out and start sourcing candidates, they need people ASAP. So again, the staffing partner that you're working with has got to be able to source these high quality candidates extremely quickly to deploy them.
And what if they fail the competency once you get them?
Huge.
You're set back again at least a week, and it's back to the drawing board again. There's lots of opportunity, I think, in the industry to smooth this out, standardize those competencies. But it all starts with having a baseline level of requirements from the staffing company, so that it's going to increase the likelihood that they're going to come in competent and ready to go and take the least amount of time to get going.
So whoever you're using for a staffing partner, we hope that you think about that competency piece, that you think about the speed of deployment piece, because they are related, to Justin's point. You don't want to go fast and to get someone of poor quality, because then that does set you back. But you also don't want to go fast and then get somebody in who didn't know what they were doing to begin with. So it's all for naught. So whoever you work with, make sure that quality happens both on the competency sourcing side of things, but also on the deployment and timeline side of things as well, to make staffing actually work for you and don't put you in a more critical place than what you started with before you brought those travelers in. As always, guys, we love that you're tuning in to the Beyond Clean YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Keep fighting dirty out there, and we'll see you again soon.